Hi everyone, how are you? I'm sitting here with a beautiful statue of Baba Ji. I'm at the Kundalini Yoga Center in Altamonte. Here, I'll show you how beautiful it is outside. I'm in a gazebo in the gardens of the center, surrounded by beauty, peace, waterfalls. It is just absolutely gorgeous here. And I just finished taking a workshop with an amazing teacher, soul sister that I just met, and it was similar to my meditative writing class. I'm so excited. The workshop was about the 4 agreements. I don't know if you've read this book. It's a very, very popular, it's like a classic for us in the spiritual community, and I think it's probably been translated into hundreds of languages since it came out. There's now 5 agreements. There's another book that followed after this one, and it was a great reminder. I've read this book again. It's a kind of book that you read over and over again. It takes only a few hours to read, and it's a practical guide to personal freedom. It's written by Miguel Ruiz. And the 4 agreements are amazing little tidbits of gem that's been passed down. The tradition comes from the Toltec, and this wisdom was passed down from generation to generation. And Don Miguel Ruiz decided to put it into a book and bring it back into the masses and share these wise words that can help shift someone's life, especially in times of chaos and time of great change like we're seeing right now. And I wanted to share those with you. And they're very lovely. They're very easy. I really recommend that you get the book and you read the book. It's such an easy book. I think all the libraries in the world has it. And the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And being impeccable with your word, what does that mean? It's simply that the word is key. Your word is everything. The word comes from deep within. If you don't honor your truth and you don't speak your truth and don't honor the words, whatever you speak, you will create in your life. And if you speak harshly, unkind words towards you or others, this is what you're creating. If you watch the words and watch the language of your heart and of your mind, how do you speak to yourself? What words do you use? Are you kind to yourself? How do you judge yourself? When you go within, when you think about your career, your money, your job, your relationships, your appearance, your body, your spiritual life, your emotional life, how you handle yourself in the world, what words do you use? How do you judge yourself? What words did you learn as you were a child that you cultivated and made them your own and made them beliefs that you're still using today when you speak to yourself? I'm too this, I'm too fat, I'm too young, I'm too silly, I'm too, not silly, but you know what I mean. All these words that we use, they create our reality. Being impeccable with our words means to speak truths, speak kindly, and make sure that your words come from love. Make sure that your words come from the deep truth within. and not something that you've learned, something that you believed, a false belief, a false story. There's your own personal truth that comes from what you learn, what your parents taught you, what comes from teachers, what came from society, what came from whatever culture you were raised in, and that you've taken these words and made them your own. That's your own personal truth. That's your own personal story. But that's not the ultimate truth, which is that you're a light being, that you're a soul living in a physical body, that we all, when we're born as babies, this is when we're pure. This is our soul. This is the way we are. This is the way we still are. But as we grow and we learn all these behaviors and these negative things about ourselves, we bury that light. We bury it with mud. And we start to believe that all this stuff, all this crap, is ourselves. And when we speak our words, we speak them from this muddy place. But we have to remember that we're deep within. We're that light deep within. We're that diamond deep within. And the muck, we need to get rid of that. We need to get clear on that. We need to release that. We need to go to the truth. And that starts with self-awareness, self-discovery. It starts with meditation, with writing, with getting to who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, how are you going to change and become who you want to be? You need to know who you are first, right? The second agreement is don't take anything personally. I love this one. When I read this book years ago, and I'm going to read it again. It's the type of book you read over and over again. And this totally shifted my perspective on a lot of things when I started to realize that people, including me, identify with a lot of things. We identify with, I'm a white woman Canadian who moved down here, who's an ex-biker turned yogi, I'm a teacher, I'm this, I'm that. There's a lot of things we identify with. And when people come and pass judgments or opinions on certain things, oftentimes we feel threatened and we want to defend because we identify with certain things. It's like a sports team. People identify so much with their sport team that if they're in a bar somewhere and somebody says something negative about their sport team or that somebody won, they get upset, they get into fights. That's because they identify with the sports team. But what good does that make? We identify with religion, we identify with countries, we identify with sports, we identify with our sexuality, our bodies, we identify with a lot of things. That creates a lot of unhappiness. And to realize that everybody speaks from their story and identifies with such stories really makes you realize that there's a lot of just blah blah going around and not a lot of aware people talking out there that are really conscientious of who they are, who they truly are, and what their words are creating in this life. Hurt people hurt other people. And if you react to people saying things to you because you identify with something, you're just putting fuel to the fire. You're just making it worse. You're not helping. You want to come from a place of love. Always come from a place of love. If you're reacting out of anger or frustration, you have to ask yourself, why is this triggering me? Where is this coming from? Because either whatever the person said either is triggering something in you, or either you believe that what they said is true, or you're reflected in their behavior. So you have to go and ask yourself, really, what's going on there? Why is this triggering me? And knowing that everyone talks from their own beliefs and stories and personal baggage. If you know that and you're aware of that and you remind remind yourself that, and you allow yourself time to observe when somebody is triggering you or saying things, and you feel the heart closing, and you feel, that anger or frustration. Well, just take a breath and allow it, honor it, but allow it to pass, and don't take it personal. And yeah, if somebody is really, if you're in a situation where somebody's anger is going to be violent or something, you want to defend yourself or stand up to yourself when something is really wrong. Of course, I'm not saying just shut up and just go, but I'm saying we get into gossips, we get into talking, and we want to defend our position, whether it's political or our point of view on certain things, and everybody's got their opinion. Everybody's got is speaking from their own story, from their coming from, and we must honor that. Everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. But if you detach completely from that, how freeing is that? How amazingly expansive that is. That feeling of just, you just said that you didn't like the way I did such and such, and you think I'm this type of person, and you're mad at me. It's like, okay, so what? I disagree. If you know yourself deep down really well, if people say things that aren't true, you're not going to get triggered. You're not going to get angry or frustrated, because it's not true. So you really want to become very aware of who you are. Observe your story. Observe where your words are coming from, where your actions are coming from. Observe if you're reacting on autopilot, or if you're actually consciously creating your life. This is the place where you want to do, and the more you do it, the more you practice, the better it gets. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. I like that. Did I say that already? I don't think so. No, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. Oh my God, yeah. Don't make assumptions. That reminds me of a story I read about this person that was posting online, and when the people weren't replying fast enough, they started thinking about, oh my God, they're not liking me, and maybe I regretted posting it, or how come they're not answering, or if somebody's texting and they don't answer right away, it's like, oh, and then your mind starts to talk. Oh, they didn't like what I said. They're going to be angry. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or maybe they don't like me. Or maybe I'm nagging them. Or maybe, and the little voice that starts, don't make assumption. Maybe the person's in line at the grocery store. And then when they call you, like, oh, and then you spent all this time just worrying for nothing. Making assumptions on what people think, I think it creates the most frustration between people. For me, myself and my husband, I've experienced that a lot. They say men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and I've been with Eric for 28 years, and he still makes assumptions on what I think, and he's wrong. And I tell him, honey, why the heck did you think that? I'm not thinking that at all. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. But, all these days that he was making assumptions, oh, she's going to say this, she's going to think that, was stress that was totally unnecessary. Don't make assumptions. Ask. Communicate clearly. Communicate clearly. Make sure you know what's going on clearly. And if it's not clear enough, ask. So, if I understand correctly, this is what you need. You need this, and this is what you're lacking in the relationship with, Ask clearly what you need. Communicate your needs. Make sure you know what the other person needs. But this is also good, at work or anywhere. Miscommunication, with devices, we lose emotion. We lose so much with texting and emailing and messaging, and oftentimes the source of miscommunication is, first of all, you lose a lot of money at work, because then if you thought the person wanted this and then you do the project incorrectly, you have to do it over again. and you should have just made sure it was clear. So it's really important that you get clear communication and you don't make assumptions on what you think people may like, feel, need, because a lot of times we're wrong. The fourth agreement: always do your best at everything, all the time. If you always do your best, you'll feel better about yourself. You'll know that you've given it your all. And you come from a place of love. And always do your best towards yourself as well. That's really important too. You know, are you doing your best for everybody else, but you're not doing it for yourself? That's something to look at. Always do your best to yourself in every situation. Always take the high road. Always come from the place of love. Love is easy and flowy and yummy. And fear is anger and frustration and pain. And when we feel these emotions and we react to these emotions, we're reacting from a place of fear. We're not reacting from a place of love. We're not doing our best. We may be doing it unconsciously, but we're still reacting from that place of fear. So we want to cultivate awareness. We want to cultivate self-discovery and personal growth. And writing is just, for me, meditating and writing, they go together. You can't have one without the other, because, I mean, that's what I teach. But that's what, it works. It works. And you don't have to sit and chant ohms for 3 hours. It could be as easy as taking a walk by yourself outside in the forest and breathing and asking yourself questions and seeing what comes up and then writing the answers. But as long as you start the dialogue with yourself, and you will be amazed at what you'll discover, because you want to stop believing in stories that you've been telling yourself that are untrue, and not react to what everybody's telling because they're triggering something. If there's a trigger there, you want to find out, why are you being triggered to that? You want to go to that space. Maybe not with the person, maybe walk away from the person, but later go and analyze, well, why is this making me so angry? Why is this frustrating me? And go to that place and see, why is that creating that emotion in you? Because you're reflecting something here. And from that place of self-discovery and awareness, you'll be able to create a much more peaceful life and stay more balanced in the middle of turmoil, in the middle of chaos, or the crazy world we live in, which is also an amazing, beautiful world. I believe we're exactly where we're supposed to be. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Everybody is. There's a lot of freedom and expanse in surrender and in trust, but also in intuition and conscious action. It's really important to go there and to consciously create the life that you want, and really become aware of what comes from fear, what comes from love, and shift those actions, those words, from one to the other. And the best that you do, the more that you do it, the more you practice it, and the more life's going to get easier and better. That's it for me. I gotta go home, leave this beautiful, amazing place. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Love you. Namaste.